And we're live. Good day, everybody. Welcome to the Ammunition live stream. My name is your host, the Craftsman. No, I'm your host, Craig Bragg, and this is my co-host, Irving Twin. Have you ever watched the Craftsman videos?
No.
Oh, yeah,
What is that?
check him out. This guy does crafts. He does it's this little puppet who sounds like he's from the Deep South, and he does crafts. And it's called The Craftsman, Crafsman. Some people may be aware, but he's pretty good. He's really fun to watch.
I do craft whiskeys.
There you go.
There we go.
He doesn't do any alcohol. It's all like little doodad action figures, things like that. But it's he does a really cool channel. Maybe some people who watch will know what I'm talking about. He starts his videos with, "Welcome to the Craftsman. I am your host, the Craftsman," and then it goes on from there. But anyway, and that's how he sounds roughly. Anyway, everybody, welcome to Ammunition 6, Ammunition live stream episode 6. As I said, I'm Craig Bragg. This is Irving Twin. Welcome, Irving. How are you?
Yeah, not so bad. Just a little sore, you know.
A little sore, working hard today?
Yeah.
That's good.
You, how you doing?
I'm all right. I'm getting a little antsy in the pantsy about all the totalitarian edicts that are coming down in and around the world. A little bit of turmoil overseas, and it's getting a little spooky. I'm a little concerned.
I'm surprised that places beat, in particular Toronto, but Canada too. Some of these really weird totalitarian pushes over coronavirus.
Oh, yeah, it's insane. It's absolutely nuts. But yeah, I just wanted to do another live stream tonight at the urging of my good friend Irving. He said, "Hey, you want a live stream tonight?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I'll do Ammunition." So, welcome everybody. You're saying we got a few people watching already?
It seemed so, yeah. But they're shy.
They're not saying anything. Welcome everybody. Say hello in the chat if you're there. We appreciate it.
Do it if you're cool.
Do it if you're not cool too. We don't discriminate. But so, Irving, what's on your mind? What's new in your world? What is it that has piqued your interest that you want to talk about?
Oh yeah, no, I mean, we're on your show. We've got to cover your topic. It's very pressing. This is super important.
It's true.
I don't know who in their right mind outside of the UK would say aluminium when it is obviously pronounced aluminum.
Aluminum? See, that's new to me. I've heard aluminum.
I literally just thought of it just now and was like, oh, look, because you don't have to change the spelling or anything. You can just say it.
Yeah, aluminum. Aluminium. No, of course, everybody's aware now that there was a tariff imposed on Canadian aluminum by Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, recently. 10% tariff on Canadian-sourced aluminum.
A re-tariff, from what I understand.
Yeah, the tariff existed before. It was removed, and now it's back. Am I correct?
It didn't exist. Then Donald Trump slapped us with it.
Yeah. Then
he removed it.
Oh, nice guy.
But now, you know what? And I think this is all the fault of Justin Trudeau.
I agree. Right? You should have gone to that fucking summit.
No fucking shit. This is the single largest trading partner for both countries, and you can't even show up.
Who did he send?
Was it?
It wasn't Morneau, was it?
No. It's the one who thinks she's hot in that dress, but she's not.
Freeland?
Maybe.
Christina Freeland?
Chrystia Freeland, I think.
Chrystia Freeland. Oh, she's a nightmare.
She looked like she used to be hot in high school.
No. She looks like she was a bitch in high school.
Oh, sure. But I mean,
she was a bitch in high school who sucked guys' dicks. So she had the illusion that she was hot.
Oh, okay. But she still thinks she looks hot in that dress, but she really doesn't.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah.
No, I don't like her either. Yeah, he sent Chrystia Freeland, who I see in my Twitter feed all the time, because I'm subscribed to politics. So basically, I get stuff from political persons in Canada and the United States, right? So, and every time I see Justin Trudeau, I just respond with whatever he tweets with resign. But somebody blocked me. Somebody on Twitter blocked me for marking resign. Like somebody I don't even know.
Yeah, no, they
responded to my resign reply with blocked, and I'm like, who the fuck? Why are you blocking me? Like wow, you love the guy that much, huh? Anyway,
it's just typical of them, because that's one of the things that we've been saying for a long time, that actually the studies show people on that side of the argument don't listen. No. They aren't listening. They're not taking any of the sources from the right and their opinions, so they don't hear them, so they can just invent their positions for them and attack those. That's why they think everyone's a fascist who isn't with them.
Right. Yeah, so me calling for Justin Trudeau to resign, it's obviously because I'm a racist and I hate people with nice hair. I don't know. But I mean, in her defense, I didn't really offer much to the conversation. I just simply told the guy to resign. But I'm like, lady, I wasn't talking to you. So you don't need to block me. I'm not going to seek you out. I'm not going to start following you.
Please forgive me.
Yeah. Oh my God. Ridiculous. Blocked. If I'd chirped at you, okay, I get you blocking me. But do you block everybody who says something on Twitter that you disagree with? What's the point? You'd be wasting all your time blocking people. Anyway, neither here nor there.
Yeah.
The tariff, though, I'm inclined to believe that it probably has something to do with a little bit of like bruised ego on the part of Donald Trump for Justin Trudeau not showing up. But you know what? I have a feeling it's more in line with, the fact that the U.S. wants to source their own shit. They don't want to be be reliant on other countries for their stuff, which is probably what the original tariff was to begin with, right?
I actually know a little bit of the specifics about that. Remember before the USMCA, notice how Canada's last in that USMCA, used to be NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement.
Yep.
Well, that sounds nice, that name, right? Like Black Lives Matter or anti-fascist. But it's not indicative of what's in the box.
It's not actually free trade.
It's not actually free trade. That we had heavy tariffs on particular aluminum and I think steel coming in from the U.S. And we could sell our aluminum and steel to them with no tariff. Right?
Okay.
So Donald Trump said, well, that's not free trade. That's not fair at all. So I'm slapping tariffs on your aluminum and steel.
You're going to tariff ours, we'll tariff yours.
Yeah, basically create an incentive for them to either remove tariffs or to buy American, right? Which would make sense because we do at least economically play by a similar set of rules, right?
Right.
That it's not free fair trade if the two countries are playing by different sets of rules, like with China.
Yeah.
Right? Like they can always just manipulate their currency and their output to whatever will aid them, right?
Yeah, they'll dump their substandard steel and what have you. Yeah.
Yeah. So the tariffs don't make a lot of sense, and that it was absolutely not free trade. So like people were freaking out, like, how could Donald Trump do this? We've been doing it to them for decades.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah. So now I'm not sure with the USMCA how that plays. Like, did we increase our output of aluminum? Which would, maybe that's some kind of violation, or it's in there because Justin Trudeau wasn't even fucking there. Chrystia Freeland talked about how, this was such a wonderful trade deal that we got. It's like you got what was given and you had to say yes.
Yeah.
So it's very possible that it's like if you increase your output, we can tariff it a little bit to slow down that incoming so we can buy our own as well.
yeah, the devil's in the details, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's always about, in terms of media and in terms of commentary, painting the worst possible or the best possible picture, depending on what your goal is. But you're right; it's probably more details involved, that more nuance. But from that standpoint, in theory, like in principle, I don't like tariffs. I think things should move across the border. But I understand that governments not need to sort of protect their industries, so to speak. They can't have, like you said, one nation playing by one set of rules and another nation playing by another set of rules.
Exactly.
But yeah, I don't know how you win a trade war, or how you have a good trade relationship, or what have you, without putting some sort of limitations or caveats to certain products, especially when, I mean, I don't know what I could look it up, but I don't know what the production of aluminum product in the United States versus Canada is. I mean, United States produces its own aluminum as well.
Sure, but imagine how much aluminum they must consume. Like the way that they're a net exporter of oil, I'm sure they're a net importer of aluminum.
Probably. But maybe it's one of these things where, like, what, maybe we should stop relying on other nations for things like aluminum and steel, and we start producing our own. It's not like we don't have the resources. We're not exploiting them because we've got these friendly trade partners that are willing to give them to us at a decent rate. But yeah, I don't know. It's not a big deal, but people are making it a big deal, obviously. I just wanted to, get the word out there, because I know everybody's talking about it, and I see it on my news feeds on YouTube that, Doug Ford has said this about Donald Trump's decision, and I'm like, okay, of course he did. But I got nothing against Doug Ford. He's got to do what he's got to do as far as being a politician. He's got to make a statement, right?
I'm a little bit mad at Doug Ford now.
Okay, because you're a big Ford fan. What's he done to you this time?
Well, okay. I mean, there's no politician that's going to do everything that you want to do, right? You're going to be like, okay, I want these major things, right? 3 or 4 of them. And these other things I'm not going to get. Maybe they'll pretend they're working at it, which is, something. But one thing I really wanted was for Doug Ford to repeal that weird-ass new sex education for 12-year-olds that was written by the pedophile. And he ran on that. No, that's literally, the man is a convicted pedophile and friend of Justin Trudeau.
No shit.
Yes.
What's his name?
I can't fucking remember, but there's pictures of them together, and he wrote the curriculum.
Wow.
Yeah, you can find it. It's there. Right. I'm not making it up. I just don't have.
I don't doubt you, but I'm
sorry for the audience. I'm not making it up. I just don't have the source. Like, it's not hidden in my ass. I can't just pull it out and hand it to you here.
Right.
And
Google. And he didn't.
He didn't. He ran. That was a big part of it, and then he did not. And I was like, well, these other things, I've got him now. Let's just be like, okay, let's see how he does. And he was handling the coronavirus admirably. Right. I was very pleased with it. But he didn't really say anything when the mask laws came into effect in Toronto. And then he went one step farther and pushed that bill that allows them to extend the state of emergency 1 month at a time without further debate or voting.
Yeah, indefinitely.
And the one dissenting voice from his caucus said, no, I can't vote for that. That's an overreach of government power. We should have to debate it to extend it. She's kicked out of the fucking party.
Yeah.
Yo, no, motherfucker. No. You lost me. You're done.
Yeah. You know what? I'm trying to think what would be the reasoning for him going back on that sex education platform. And I'm trying to think, if I were a politician, what pressures am I going to be under? So right now he's under pressures from the teachers unions because they don't want to go back to work. Right? They want to get paid, but they don't want to actually go back to the classroom.
Yeah.
And he did push hard on changing the Common Core to more traditional math education. I don't know if did he backpedal on that too?
That one I don't know, because I was obviously more focused on the sex ed written by a fucking pedophile for 12-year-olds. Oh.
Yeah. I think I remember seeing some little snippets of the curriculum talking about, anal sex with 12-year-olds and stuff. I'm like, what?
Yeah, no, like 11, 12, 13 is when you should be teaching them like what the names of the parts are, and they should be giggling their asses off, and it should all be like diagrams. Just diagrams, no description.
Yeah, exactly.
6, good evening.
Thanks for showing love, 6. I appreciate that. That's kind of you to drop by. Do you want to pop into the stream? You're welcome to. I'll send you an invite. I'll let him comment. I could just send him the link, I guess.
Yeah. So Doug Ford, I mean, at this point, it's like there's no one provincially for me that I can vote. There's no actual conservative party here, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm not going to vote Liberal. So, what do I do?
PPC, baby.
Yeah, but provincially,
they've got they don't they have a provincial level party?
No, I mean, not that I'm aware.
Well,
I mean,
it's time to start one, I think.
Are you saying you're going to run
as the leader of the Ontario PPC?
Just in your riding?
Sure, why not?
Yeah,
I'll get in touch with Maxime Bernier and say, hey, why don't we have a provincial level party?
Yep.
So obviously the Conservatives and Liberals are, two sides of the same coin, and the NDP are just a bunch of basket cases.
I noticed
the Greens are just communists.
Eco-terrorists. I noticed you hit up some people on the Twitter.
I did. Right? Fellow Canadian YouTubers and YouTube content creators.
Do you know of a guy named Greg Wycliffe?
Greg Wycliffe. I do, but I don't. Do I follow him on Twitter?
He's the guy who does all the songs.
That's right. Yeah. I should have hit him up. Great. You know what? I created the tweet. Like I copied the tweet into a message to you, and I'm like, oh, here's some names that are popping up because I've obviously messaged them before. And so I added them too. I don't think I've ever messaged him, so I should get Greg Wycliffe. You're absolutely right.
Mark Friesen. Is Mark Friesen the fucking mad lad who's suing for gun rights?
I think he might be.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I hope he's watching.
That'd be great.
Costin. Go ahead.
Vote independent as well. Yeah, I could vote independent.
Who runs independently?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to find a candidate that was running independently that, I really dug his platform. But no, I think there does need to be a provincial level PPC. Can't just be at the national level, in my opinion.
No, yeah, it's it should permeate all the way to the real idea is it should permeate upwards. It should start, municipally and provincially and that should be the support base for a future federal party, right? Because clearly this one doesn't really exist.
Speaking of municipal, did you hear the news of my neck in the woods?
I think you were mentioning it to me, but go ahead and I'll pretend I didn't hear it, and you can tell me.
Now, I've only heard this from someone else. I have not looked it up, so I should look it up before I speak too deeply on it. Burlington honors Black Lives Matter at City Hall. Apparently, Burlington City Hall is going to have a BLM mural painted on City Hall. Welcome, Six. Welcome to the stream.
Welcome. I know you guys are probably talking about something right now, but we have an opportunity. The Minions of the Zoo are having their 1,000th stream tonight.
Oh, that's probably why we only have 6 people watching.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but Weibo's also.
Weibo's also running. Yeah.
Yeah.
We noticed.
That's okay. So what's the opportunity? You have an opportunity to join their stream, 6?
No. The opportunity is we can hop into their chat and say hi.
Oh. That's actually not a bad idea, and see if we can scalp some of their viewers. Poach some of their viewers.
You know what? I do know those guys a little bit, so I'm going to go say hello. I will just what's it called? Just hop in the chat, say congrats to 1,000.
Yeah, I should do that too. I follow them. I don't watch them at a regular basis, so. They're not saying anything. Oh, maybe they are, and I just have it muted.
A 1,000 episodes. Holy shit. That's like Joe Rogan level of intensity.
Well, I'm only at 6, so I can't even begin to compete with them, but that's okay.
I haven't numbered my after hours, but I'd be surprised if it's bigger, if it's even in the realm of 100.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, congratulations then to the Minions of the Zoo on reaching 1,000 streams. Now they do it just about every night, do they not?
7 nights a week. 7 nights a week.
Wow. What is their subject matter? What do they talk about?
They have an interesting format that basically every night a different minion hosts the zoo.
Yeah, so, I know that, but so they can choose what they want.
Yeah, like Monday nights is Quiz's paint stream where he's painting his Warhammer miniatures, and just they're shooting the shit, really, whatever's on their minds.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's great fun to watch.
It's what we kind of tried to do with the stream group that I used to be part of called Chaos 120. We never really quite nailed it the way that they at the Minions did. And it didn't help. We had a few loose cannons, but don't really want to bring that one up.
Loose cannons. Yeah, I know all about loose cannons. I can't say too much because it's not fair. It wasn't my stream. It was Irving's stream. But Messiah of Keck was on the last stream, and he was being a bit of a.
He was being very funny, but not very cool.
I don't know that he was even being that funny.
He was funny. He was funny.
I think he was just being deliberately crass for the sake of being crass.
That's sort
of. Hey, don't get me wrong. I don't mind crass humor, but
Crassman.
The Minions say hey, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Thanks, Minions. Appreciate it. Now send some of your viewers over to me because I've only got 6 viewers right now. Or maybe even less. I don't know. Yeah, I'm down to 5.
Yeah, I see 5. That's because we've lost the topic. We just should have spent a minute saying.
That's true. I should go back to the topic, and the topic was Burlington honors BLM at City Hall.
That's right.
A friend of mine told me this, and I'm like, oh, what are you doing? I mean, I know what they're doing. They're virtue signaling because they think it's helpful and it'll look good. But I mean, I don't know that they're gonna see the heavy fist of BLM coming at them like all these other leaders in the U.S. have had happen to their cities when they capitulated and they bent the knee for BLM. I don't think that'll happen in Burlington because it's Burlington. But I just think, like, come on, man, you shouldn't be using taxpayer funds to to elevate and virtue signal on a pet cause. You know, it's just
that is itself a political message, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. The problem is, especially say somewhere like here in Canada, where we don't really have a lot of the BLM protests and we don't have the BLM plus Antifa violence. Like, we've had it. It's existed.
Yeah.
But not to the same degree. We don't have 72 straight nights in Portland, right? Like,
of rioting, yeah.
And because of that, people don't know what it is, right? I was telling you this the last time we got together last week, that a friend of mine was telling me, like, look, Black Lives Matter just means this thing that any rational person would take from the name, right? That, oh, no, Black people have historically in USA, even before it was Canada, been oppressed, and the idea is that these lives also matter, and we should remember that. We should make a point of knowing it. But that's not what the group is. Just because that's the label on the box does not mean that's what's inside. Like,
sure, if you take it at face value, that's how they promote it. But that's not what the group really is.
No.
If you actually talk to the people,
or even go to their website
that run it.
Yeah, just go to their website.
Yeah, hear their leaders talk on television.
Yeah, they want to dismantle the nuclear family. They, it's all Marxism. It's all, neo-Marxism or cultural Marxism. And, but you're right. Most people hear, yeah, of course Black Lives Matter. But then you hear the counter, well, all lives matter includes Black lives. So why are you getting so upset with all lives matter? It's
because it doesn't.
Because it's not calling out the specific Black lives.
Greg, it's as simple as it's not on brand.
That's right. It's off brand. And you got to hand it to the left. They're really good at branding and they're really good at messaging. And,
But they're terrible at memes.
It's true. You'd think that an ideological sort of bent that was good at the whole messaging thing could do the memes.
Branding is economics. It's media. It's science. Memes are fucking magic.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, they're not very good at memes.
And we all know about the self-driving cars, right? Mm-hmm. That if you catch the self-driving car at a slow pace and you start to pour salt in front of it, it'll mistake the salt as a white line on the road and it won't cross it. So if you just draw a circle around the car in salt, it will be trapped in the circle and unable to leave, proving once and for all that magic does in fact beat science.
Yeah, salt circles, they do the trick in keeping out ghosts too.
Yep.
Now,
I've watched Supernatural. Sam and Dean Winchester know their shit.
If I could just get my hands on a magic hammer, that would be so freaking badass. I would be flying everywhere. You would see my ass pass right over freaking Toronto, or be like, "There's 6. He's flying around with that hammer."
But would you be worthy 6?
I hope so.
Of course, if anyone's worthy, it's 6. Come on.
Yeah, I think you're probably worthy. You got the hair.
Yeah, I got the hair. I just need the cape. It's my I don't know if my gray bathrobe is sufficient.
Get a winged helmet too while you're at it.
There you go.
I'm kind of upset that he didn't have the winged helmet in the Avengers movies and the Thor movies. I'm like, he should have had a winged helmet.
He had it for about 5 minutes in the beginning of the first Thor.
Yeah, but
they didn't wear it after that.
No. Okay, so W.R. Costin is saying, how evil is Burlington compared to Toronto? I don't know.
They have a coat factory.
Burlington Coat Factory is in Vermont.
Oh, okay.
Evil of Burlington compared to Toronto. I don't think either cities are really evil.
That's because you don't live here.
What makes Toronto evil? I don't think Burlington's really evil. I think the tax structure is pretty malicious. People are taxed pretty heavily here.
Toronto is the source of all of the political bullshit. It happens here.
Yeah,
right?
Queen's Park's there. So
the south of Bloors, like I want to believe that the term Karen comes from here. That we're ruled by the Karens, right?
yeah.
Someone calls them the Leaside Lucy's, right? Leaside's a fancy neighborhood in Toronto.
Okay.
The soccer moms that basically, drink wine all afternoon, then drive out to pick up the kids and shit, and they think they know better than every other person in the country because they live in Leaside. Like,
oh, okay.
That's what I knew Karens to be before Karen was a thing. And these are the people that somehow managed to dominate the entire country's political system.
That's squeaky wheel, right? Squeaky wheel gets the grease. So if you scream hard enough, then people will go, okay, we'll appease you. And that's how BLM gets what they want. That's how everybody else gets what they want. They make themselves look bigger than they actually are by speaking loud.
Let me make this observation to you both. You do realize who you have as prime minister?
Yes.
Who else would have got voted in but a guy like that by Karens?
No, yeah, exactly. That's.
Well, I mean, he promised to legalize weed too, so
he did get the youth vote in the first round, right? Yeah. That 18 to 24s came out in a force unseen anywhere in the world. 80% of 18 to 24-year-olds.
That's huge, and it probably had a lot to do with the fact that he was talking about legalizing weed. Yep. It also had a lot to do with the fact that he's a younger politician, right? So he's younger. He's appealing to a younger voter base as well.
I had myself convinced that without that demographic, he wouldn't win. And once they had it, right, either he would legalize weed and they wouldn't have to come out and vote again, or he wouldn't and they would be, fuck it, and not go out and vote. And he won again anyway, and that's literally because Toronto is that evil. I don't know how
box wine. Yeah, it's the box wine Karens in your country.
Yeah, Ontario tends to skew liberal anyway, including Burlington. So yeah, we're just as evil as Toronto then, because my little constituency it's gone liberal, the last 3 or 4 election cycles. I think at both the provincial and federal level.
And I think that's a branding thing.
Yeah,
that liberal sounds like it should be about liberty. And it's like, no, that's just because that's what's written on the box doesn't mean that's what's inside.
Right. And conservative, you sound like an asshole.
Yeah, I mean, what's the okay, we're all fans of Sargon and we understand the concept of what a classical liberal is. Also, right. We probably read some Locke or Mill or shit like that, right?
Sure.
But what's a classical conservative? Does anyone even know what that is? Is there such a thing? Because I was under the impression. Go ahead.
I'm about as close as you're going to get.
Classical conservative.
I am. How best to describe me? I'm not a libertarian in the sense of being a party libertarian. Sometimes I refer to myself as a small L libertarian. There's a lot of shit that I don't agree with as far as the main party goes. I've been known to vote for libertarians. I don't exactly identify completely with the whole libertarian movement. I mostly describe myself as anti-authoritarian. And I am also, I guess you could refer to me as a fiscal conservative, but I'm very liberal on a lot of social issues. So that would put me in the sort of moderate-ish Right of center, but not a centrist. It's very difficult to pin down. But
No,
I'm in that general area.
I know what you mean.
I would
not
I would kind of
that what it
yeah
means.
I would
Like,
kind
I have
of
a
be
bunch of things that are way right and a bunch of things that are way left, and so it looks on the math as if you're a centrist, and it's like that's not really correct at all.
really no. There's a lot of nuance that goes in there. I could probably consider myself kind of the opposite end of the coin as far as like I would be on the right side of the coin of the classical liberal. So yeah, I would be sort of, if you looked on the political spectrum, you'd see Sargon of Akkad in his position left of center, and you look at me in my position of just right of center. It'd be about equal, the distance.
I think a classic conservative, I mean, and I'm just guessing here, a classic conservative would be much like what you said, anti-authoritarian. So in favor of individual liberty and rights, but also in favor of, a constitutional originalist, right? So somebody who thinks, look, government's there to serve us. We're not there. They're not there to lord over us. It's the reason why in the U.S. anyway, they formed the country.
They used to call it paleoconservatism.
Paleoconservatism, yeah.
So
but it's no grains.
It's the definition it's dynamic. It's somewhat changed, but I would not consider myself a pure paleoconservative either.
No.
I'm kind of in that weird, strange area that's right of center.
You sound like a Reagan conservative or a Reagan Republican or a blue dog, not a blue dog Democrat, because that has a sort of a nasty connotation to it. A Reagan Democrat or whatever, right? And then Reagan was basically a libertarian when he talked about his thoughts about government. He was like, "Look, get government out of my pocketbook and off my back. Let me do what I want to do."
Yeah, close.
Speaking of Reagan,
wait. Before
you finish what you were saying, Six.
Yeah, very, very close.
I was just going to say, speaking of Reagan, I believe he was governor of California at one point, was he not? Or at least a congressperson. Yep.
He was governor of California.
Yeah, before he ran for president. So we should talk about what's going on in California. They've gone full dictatorship. I don't know if you're aware of this, Six, but they've gone.
Before we do, can I just circle back quickly? That someone once asked me, "What is it that conservatives are trying to conserve?" And I had it in my head that the conservatives are trying to conserve individual liberties and the rule of law at the same time. So it's basically the maximum amount of individual liberty with the minimum amount of governance required to protect those civil liberties. Is that
that's
useful?
That's my general understanding of what they're after. Those on the left would probably point the finger and say that the conservation on the right is more of a cultural or a religious form of conservation, preserving an ideal from a bygone era, and so on and so forth. That's generally the paintbrush that they use to paint with very broad strokes across about anybody that's right of center.
Yeah, so I mean, conservatism doesn't really fit the peg or fit the hole. It's not a peg that fits the hole of what people who call themselves conservative really are. Because I mean, if the understanding from people, the ideological opponent of conservatives is that, oh, you just want things to be like they were in the 50s with, blacks living as, as second-class citizens, and everybody goes to church, and everybody's married and nuclear family, but the dad is actually, cheating with the secretary. I don't think that's how it's viewed. No, but I do think there is an element of maintaining sort of a cultural standard and maintaining cultural values, and not letting those change.
But I would say that's more of an isolated cultural issue.
You don't view it as a political left-wing, right-wing kind of dichotomy?
For the left wing, yes, it is a political thing, but I don't see that as much on the right. Don't get me wrong. There are some people that marry the two, the cultural and political ideology there. But further than those outliers, the majority, in my opinion, of conservatives, what they truly believe in is like what Irving was saying, is the maximum of civil liberties with the minimum of governance.
I wouldn't. I've always spoken about myself as though I'm a libertarian, or at the very least libertarian leaning. And when it comes to government, I'm deeply distrustful of it. So that's why you might say that I'm a libertarian. But I prefer to think but I understand the purpose of government and the need for government. I just think its role is different from what we see in its current iteration, right? I like the name minarchist, as opposed to an anarchist. I'd like as minimum government as possible, as small a government as possible, doing as little as possible.
Because I'm a filthy statist like you are, but a minimum degree, the absolute.
Yeah. No, there needs to be a state. There needs to be authority, because there needs to be order. But I want that state to be, heavily reined in.
I think we had this conversation before that might have been a bit of an argument that maybe I don't know if I've convinced you that the entire thing leans left and authoritarian. I want to go back to the city-state. that the entire concept of a nation and law are left-wing and authoritarian. And so because I can explain that if you really want, but because they do, we have to view everything. We have to look at every new thing that happens in government and in law through that lens of, is this stepping on the freedom?
Right.
Because it already tends that way, because we already agreed to this.
It's a necessary question that needs to be asked every time.
Yeah. How is this new regulation, new law, going to further, infringe on the freedoms of the populace? But you know what the problem is? There's more people saying there ought to be a law than there are people saying leave me the fuck alone. And in response to W.R. Costin's talk about city-state, Grey Hawk for the win.
Yeah, the question must be asked: does this overreach? Does this overstep? Does this overcorrect? Does this overbear? And if the answer is yes to any of those, take a step back, reevaluate, and come up with something else.
Yep.
The problem is that the policies and the power grabs by government, and I was saying this to a buddy of mine tonight, I'm like, they always take advantage of any crisis situation. So anytime something happens, the state and the people that are in power will use that as a reason to grab more power, and they're not likely to give it back.
No, that has to be taken away by massive political shifts, or it's Yeah, it's
or force. Yeah,
or force, and absent of those two things, you're shit out of luck.
and that leads us to what I was talking about, California going full dictatorship. Have you heard about this, Six? Irving and I were talking about it, but is it L.A. or the
I
whole
think
state?
it's the LA mayor. I can't remember his name,
Okay.
but yes, it
Mayor.
is Los Angeles.
So the mayor of LA has said, okay, if there's gatherings of more than a certain amount of people in your home, we're going to shut off your water and we're going to shut off your power. Now, Irving, you were saying this is apparently in the UK as well?
In the UK, they have something else, but let's stick with California. Let's stick with LA for now, because the way I understand it is Tim Pool was saying that if people in Chicago can't afford to pay their water or power bill, now Chicago has a similar climate to Canada.
Yeah.
So if you were to shut off their water, their heat, or their electricity, you would basically be killing them.
Yeah, the UN has said this is a violation of human rights.
Is a violation of human rights. And now here it is in LA. Oh, what's that? You're not complying? We're going to violate your human rights as prescribed by the UN.
Take away your air conditioning.
I hate to use the UN as because I disavow the UN.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of them either, but they had their convention on human rights, and there's some good things in it and there's some bad things in it, but I'd say that people who are residing in a domicile should have access to water and heat and electricity, and it should be taken.
Fucking paying for it.
Yeah, if you're not paying for it, I can understand the city saying, "Hey, you haven't paid your bill. We're suspending the service until you pay your bill." That's fine.
Let me just put it this way. I know LA can get pretty warm. I don't know if it gets Texas warm, but you get an afternoon in triple-digit heat, and you shut off power and water to a domicile. There's going to be some people dying.
Oh yeah, old people, babies. Yeah.
People die. Yeah, the children, the elderly, and the infirm.
Well, I don't care, Six. You shouldn't have had that party. You're putting people at risk. So in order to prove our point, we're going to put you at risk.
Yeah, we were having a party for my grandma. She just turned 98.
And now she's dead.
Now she's dead.
She won't live to see
99.
Made
sure. LA mayor, you made sure she wouldn't see 99.
Yeah. No, it's ludicrous. And I mean, like, this is... And I mean... I was talking to a friend, and we got on the subject of masks, and we got on the subject of government mandates for these masks and government orders, and I made the point that, look, you know what, when government there's no such thing as a temporary policy as far as government's concerned, or there's no more permanent policy than a temporary measure at the time of crisis. I mean, just take a look at income tax. Income tax didn't exist before the war, and now it's part of everybody's life. But the idea that, he said, well, masks, if they have to keep them for, another 6 months or whatever, or a year, till the flu season starts, then I'm okay with that. I'm like, okay, but what about 2 years? Do you think they're going to tell you to stop wearing a mask? And the same goes for, these states and these cities that are like, they're using this crisis to do things that are, blatant violations of the Constitution. And I mean, the federal government can only do so much. They can't just come in and say you're violating the Constitution, therefore we're coming in and taking over. But it's going to take lawsuits, right? It's going to take lawsuits from people saying you violated my constitutional rights by not allowing me to go to church. You violated my constitutional rights by not allowing me to open my business or assemble with my friends in my backyard. Right. But people can't engage in that kind of lawfare with the state because you don't win against the state. So,
no, that's
sorry to bring everybody down, depress everybody.
No, you're not wrong. I am.
The struggle is real.
post something in the chat. It's open it in a new tab with the sound off, guys. But this is the woke stream of the quote unquote live protests. Okay. And they've been going on, they've been streaming this shit for 72 days. I'm also going to try and share something with you, Craig, if I can. I think I need your permission.
I wouldn't want to be that guy.
You have
internet bill. Shit.
I mean, I think you have to do it for me. Yeah, there you go. Okay, yep. So this is something someone close to me posted on their Facebook. This isn't how they're trying to take your freedom. The mask. This is Portland. This is a picture from Portland.
Yeah.
Yep.
Except that what's happening in the bottom half is federal agents defending property and lives in their jurisdiction. What's happening in the top is a fucking joke. It's another inch of that tyranny that we are seeing in places like California that they submitted so quickly, the way the Torontonians did, to this fucking mask law, that I don't see it being far off for us.
Well, yeah, no, and I agree. And again, this speaks to the point. I was talking to a friend, and he said, "Well, what?" I'm like, this is an infringement on your freedom, and it's a means of government control, and it's absolutely, an overreach." And and he said, "Well, you make it sound so sinister." I'm like, "Yes, absolutely. Everything the government does is sinister." And he's like, "Wow, you're really hardcore." And I'm like, "Look," he says, "what would be the end? What would be the end game of them doing it? Why? What do they gain from people wearing masks?" I'm like, "Well, think about it this way. You have this constant reminder of fear on your face, so it keeps you fearful. The mask debate has become, hugely politicized. So now you have people fractionate, like they're fractured. The society's fractured. You can't engage with people in a normal way. So social cohesion and social unity break down. And on top of it all, you're basically being told by the state that if you don't do this, there's going to be a threat of force against you, whether that be a fine or imprisonment or what have you. So, and then you get, the busybodies, the brown shirts or the brown masks, who, if you're not wearing a mask, they come down on you, in public and scream at you and bully you. And then, the businesses who are, going right along, and I understand they have a liability. There's a reason for that. They don't want to face the wrath of the government any more than any other individual. And two, they don't want the liability of being considered, a hotspot for where another outbreak started because they didn't enforce mask laws. But I'm like, don't you understand what's happening? If you cow to it now, if they force you to do this now, they can force you to do anything. And I know it's just a mask. You only have to wear it until flu season, and then flu season will be particularly hard. All the stats will come out, and then they're going to encourage everybody to continue to wear masks. And then COVID's going to come back in the spring, and we got to keep wearing our masks. It's I don't know.
No, you're not wrong, and too many people are in this place of fear. And I think one of the biggest things is, I don't remember who said it. Maybe it was Tim Pool who brought this to my attention, that the mask is a symbol, not just to make you afraid of COVID, but it makes you afraid of other people. That instead of
makes you
individual, you see a person riddled with disease who is a threat to you, and you have to keep a 6-foot distance. Now, here's something that I've noticed, because I don't know if you can tell, I'm chatty as fuck. When I'm in a shop, right, and in a long line, I might just say something randomly, not directly to the person next to me, but so they can hear me. And if a conversation happens, it happens. Now, with the fucking mask, no one can hear me. I've got the mask on, and they don't hear what I'm saying, and they're trying to respond, and I'm like, sorry, what's that? come again? Because I want to hear what they have to say.
Yeah.
And most people within 3 sentences are like, forget it.
Get it. Yeah. I was at IKEA buying some furniture a week or so back, and you have to wear a mask in IKEA, and everybody there is wearing a mask, people who work there. And I go up to the information counter in the self-serve area, and they got a big plastic screen up, and I'm trying to ask this guy, hey, can you check and see if this thing is here or not? It says it's not here, but we saw online it is in stock here. And he can't hear me because there's a screen of plastic. I have a mask, he has a mask, and it's in a big open warehouse, right? So I have to go around the plastic to talk to the guy. I'm like looking for this thing. Anyway, it makes regular social interactions nearly impossible, and it ups that frustration level in people's minds, and that's why you get people losing their shit. And when the cops show up at their door, they pull a gun on the cops, and the cops shoot the guy. Now, he wasn't shot over a mask. But the mask was an underlying factor in why that guy got shot.
But that's the idea, is that the mask makes everyone your enemy, and it prevents the possibility for reconciliation with that enemy.
Right.
And and then suddenly you have this, if you have too many people in a place where, oh, you don't have to wear a mask or you're comfortable without your mask, now we're going to fucking punish you by taking out your water and power.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone who said this was okay, you said the rest of it was okay. That's why we're so against this. That's why we're so, no, you can't do this. Because when you say this one little bit is okay, you're saying the rest of it's okay.
Yeah, and I mean,
I gotta jump out right now. But
it's all good, man.
But the thing that I wanted to bring up before I leave was that in my time using social media, going back all the way to message boards and stuff like that, one of the things that really struck me about the communication between anybody using that medium is the glaring absence of context, because the people that are communicating with each other cannot see each other. And there are some parallels that I've begun to draw from the interactions that I've had with people in my daily life at work, and certainly outside of work, is that when people are wearing masks, there are a lot of social cues that they're not going to be able to pick up on, and certainly a lot of difficulties that people have reading each other's facial expressions, because half of their facial expressions are missing. So a lot of conflicts brew up between people because, one, they're having a hard time hearing the person that they're talking to wearing a mask, and two, they can't glean from the limited amount of facial expression that they can actually perceive and the person standing in front of them, because they just cannot see half of their face. Many parallels with communicating with people on Twitter. You can't see the person that you're talking to on Twitter, and you could be standing right in front of the person in physical proximity to the person and still have that about the same level of contextless, if I'm using that word, contextless interaction. Yeah.
We're going to have /S for sarcasm now.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought sarcasm was alternating uppercase, lowercase.
There you go.
That's what I've been doing for sarcasm.
But I just wanted to leave you all with that.
Yeah.
That observation.
It's a good point. I would say it even goes further than that. Having the mask on dehumanizes the person you're talking to, because you're right. You don't see half their face.
I work with the guy. I have no idea what he looks like.
You just started this job and everybody's wearing a mask.
No. masks are optional because of the kind of work. But
Yeah.
this one guy, I don't know how he does it. I have no idea. But yeah, I've never seen his face.
He wears a mask all the time at work. Really? Eh?
Yep.
Irving, have you entertained the thought that he may be Canadian Batman?
Except he's like 5'4", 120 pounds, and Asian.
Hey.
Yeah, it's possible.
Oh, so he's
He might-
Canadian. He's the Canadian Storm Shadow.
Canadian Kato. You
Canadian.
guys
Massive
take it
ball.
easy and enjoy the meme that I made today using a dancing Justin Trudeau.
Oh, I'll have to check it out,
Send us links.
please.
It's one of those that I did I did a dozen of these things, and Weibo was giving me shade earlier about making so many. But yeah, it's all based around the same thing. This that Buckaroo Banzai thing that you saw earlier.
I love Buckaroo Banzai. It's my favorite movie.
So Irving even liked it.
I don't think I saw it. I'll have to go on Twitter and find it.
Yeah. It's
Oh, is this new thing that's going around about how I was almost in this fucking picture?
yeah. It's this guy that was there in 2017 at VidCon with all those guys, and he didn't take a picture next to the Kekistani flag with all of them, and because I guess he was too good for everything. Anyway, I need to get some sleep. You guys take it easy.
Have a good night, Six. Thanks for coming in.
You're very welcome. You guys are freaking just. I just want to like bro hugs.
Fist bump.
Oh, fist bump. There we go. Fist bumpage. Take it easy. Take
care.
it easy, chat.
Always good having him on board.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
He's got a great radio voice. He should be in radio.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, what does the government gain by having everybody wearing masks and forcing them to do it? One, I mean, all the things I mentioned, but on top of that, they gain at a glance to know who they've got under control. They can know at a glance who they can push around, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I, I've said it before, and this is what I was trying to explain. Look, if a business decides they want to have a mask policy in place, I'll either not patronize them, or I'll put a mask on if I need to go into their store, if I want to go into their store. But I don't like the idea of the government saying all stores must do this. And I mean, I guess the rule isn't that all stores must do it. It's just places where it's difficult to social distance. But most stores don't want to take the chance. So they're just doing it. It's like a blanket policy.
Hold on. In Toronto, it's absolutely every public place.
Really?
Every indoor public place must obey the mask laws. So it's actually on the proprietor, Gesundheit. It's on the proprietor as much as it is the client at that point. I don't know what German word to say to that, Craig. Seriously.
I was muted, right?
Yep.
Okay. I didn't need to
When I saw it, that was about as violent as nose blowing gets, my dude.
Sorry. If you'd heard it, you would have been wow.
But yeah, so it's on the proprietor as much as it is the individual clientele or customer. And they have to obey it. There's no minarchist libertarian idea that I, as a shop owner, can say, warning, this is a mask-free zone. And I've seen this meme. It was some business in the U.S.
Yeah.
Enter at your own risk.
Yeah.
That's, hey, what's that? This is a farm. We got horses and dogs running loose. Enter at your own risk.
Right.
You're welcome here. But be aware there's a risk. If you're not good at animals, you're going to suffer the consequences. And guess what? You can come into my store, but if you want to touch everything and then touch your face, that's your problem.
Yeah. Well, this is what I've been saying too. I'm like, look, I'm responsible for my health. I'm not responsible for your health. And, I always get the answer back, well, we live in a society and everybody's sort of responsible. You're putting people at risk, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, no. You put yourself at risk when you get in your car. Put yourself at risk when you walk outside your door.
Yep.
It's doesn't become my responsibility because there's a pandemic that I am now putting you at risk because you go to the store that I went to. And I made the same point, like, this is where I am a libertarian, right? I do believe that stores or restaurants should be allowed to have smoking sections, should be allowed to have people in their establishment that if they want to have them smoking, they can smoke. But you can't do that, right? Because you're responsible for the well-being of your employees. And my answer to that is, if you're an employee and you're aware of the policy, you don't have to work there.
Yes.
You can find another place to work.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Let the employees and the customers make that decision for themselves, right, and let the owner of the business suffer the consequences or reap the benefits, one or the other.
Right. Yeah. And, my answer to this is freedom is messy. Like, I know that you're worried that some people are going to make bad decisions and it's going to negatively impact you. I'm like, but you get in your car every day and you got a hell of a lot more risk of dying in a car crash.
My God, some idiot. Have you been on the 401 ever? Holy shit.
Yeah.
Until like 2-3 years ago, the 401 was the busiest highway in the world.
Yeah. What's the new one? What is it now?
Somewhere in India, they finally have a much bigger highway that will accommodate their traffic.
Yeah, I'm just like, look, do you want to live in a free country or do you want to live in a safe country? Because there's plenty of countries you can go where you're safe, but you sure as hell don't have a lot of freedom. And actually, you're probably not that safe, truth be told.
Here's one of the things that I like to say. Do I think it's a good idea for you to shoot yourself in the foot and then dive off your roof? No. But should you be allowed to do it? Yeah. Yeah, you're your own master. You own your own body. You can do whatever the fuck you want. But holy shit, shooting yourself in the foot, they'll lock you up and throw you into a psych ward because we have so-called universal health care. And jumping off your roof, yeah, oh my God, no, they're going to take your kids away.
Yeah.
What?
I wanted the video to go viral, though, Irving. It was going to be a viral video. If I pulled it off, that video would have gone viral.
Yeah, it probably went viral.
And I made tons of money from it, Anyway, what do you think of the banning of TikTok?
Okay. Again, we're looking at different economies playing by different rules, different states playing by different rules. Yeah, no, some asshole wrote some article about Facebook versus TikTok and said that it's the same question as, is America better than
China?
Yeah,
it is, but that's beside the point.
Right. But the problem is that Facebook is already violating those things, and it's also like Facebook, TikTok, and China all sit in the same category. That's how I feel about that one.
Yeah.
So should we ban Facebook? Maybe.
I don't think it would. I don't think people would be hurt by Facebook not existing anymore. But, I've said this before. I'm not in favor of banning things. I think the risk should have been, said, here's the risk if you have TikTok on your mobile device. First off, kids don't give a shit about risk. They don't understand risk.
But the risks are hidden. That's the problem.
And the issue, and here's the thing. I thought it was an economic thing with China, but now more has come out that China, the company that owns TikTok, it's a Chinese company, and no Chinese company exists without the blessing of the state.
Yep.
And the state will, utilize any company's assets the way it wants. So China is in effect spying on every TikTok user.
Yeah, and TikTok is that actually it's been exposed as that it Facebook does some nefarious shit. Okay. Mm-hmm. TikTok does the exact same things, plus a whole ton of other things where they're they're asking for access to your clipboard.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you search something, that goes automatically to your clipboard. It's saved on your clipboard. So TikTok now has access to everything you ever searched.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there might be some weird thing with your phone that when you're punching in your password, because your clipboard is always active, it might save the keystrokes. And it might have your passwords and logins for all kinds of things because it has access to your clipboard.
Right.
And
I mean, and a lot of these apps, they'll link to other social media apps. Oh, you want to make a TikTok account? You want to just link it to your Facebook account? It's a lot easier. You want to link it to your Gmail account? It's a lot easier. Well, now they've got access to your Gmail shit too. And I don't know about you, I don't make a unique password for every single app I use. I have a few that I use that are memorable. I know that I should use different passwords for everything, but it's not convenient. So I have a few passwords that I use across the board, and that's on me. I get it, but I enter into these agreements with these people who produce apps that they're going to behave above board and I'll behave above board, and neither one of us is going to violate our each other's privacy or rights.
That's where Facebook takes the win versus TikTok, is that the one thing they don't do is record everything off your clipboard. They don't have a keystroke recorder,
right?
And they don't know your passwords to other things. But they do nefarious shit. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, no, but Facebook can't access your bank if you didn't put that shit on Facebook.
Right.
Right. So, but TikTok might be able to, if you have a TikTok and you have the same problem that you just described. Having
no, I don't have TikTok. I had it for a while.
Cool.
I did for a while, but I got rid of it a while ago. There's a lot of cute Trump supporting girls on TikTok. You know,
that's the lure, right? Like
that's it. These poly thoughts. I don't know if that's a new thing that I just coined. Political thoughts.
I like it. I like
thoughts.
Poly thoughts. Yeah, no. Hey, chaos corrupts through the most devout. That's the best way in, right?
It's true. Well, and you can't trust China because China is asshole.
China is the asshole.
So in response, like I said, I'm not a fan of banning things, but if the U.S. government is determined that there's a threat based on this app of people's information and identities and access to financial data being stolen, then yeah, I think maybe they should say, maybe we should get rid of this shit.
Because we started with, you're also not a fan of tariffs. And I do think tariffs have their place. Now, between Canada and US, we should be able to work it out that we don't have tariffs. But with what is now an antagonistic government, have tariffs, have bans on their products, that is in particular when they're using that product to spy on the public, right, at large. And this is one of the things is, if you know anything about the CIA, they don't make spies out of high-ranking officials. They make spies out of the average person who works a labor job where, or a server job where a high-ranking official frequents, right?
Yep, they use all manner of people. They'll use actors. They'll use people in media. Actually, they use a lot of people in media. A lot.
Oh, hold on. You're talking about Americans. I'm talking about CIA going overseas.
Oh, okay.
And then they go to a coffee house, befriend a coffee house worker, because that coffee house is where, I don't know, some second, third in command guy in Iraq, he goes to that coffee house twice a week.
Right.
right? And they turn that server who's listening. TikTok is like listening to everybody.
Right.
It's the same thing, but so much worse. And if they're not playing by the same rules, we don't have to let them in.
No, I agree. Sounds like an immigration debate. But I know I agree. So in that sense, I guess I'm on board with the banning of TikTok. Now, I don't know if it's a ban that basically you can't download the app anymore, or it's simply government officials can't have it on their devices, or what? Is it apparently the official ban happened last night.
The parent company is actually banned from doing business.
Was it called Byte Size or something like that? BYTE Size or something like that? Yeah. You can't do business with that company if you're a U.S. entity or you have assets in the U.S. So yeah, I'm on board with that, especially if people are at risk, people's financial information, identity information is at risk. Makes sense. You don't want to. It's like, but what's funny? A lot of my buddies anyway, they have Google Home, and I'm like, why would you put a bug in your house? Why would you go to the store, buy a bug, and put it in your house?
It's slightly less nefarious than TikTok.
Yeah.
But it's the same.
Well, yeah, less than TikTok, because TikTok is being used by a foreign government that's like you said, it's antagonistic. But
no, but this one is not subject to our government. It's just subject to itself, and it's mostly about marketing, but also, goddamn, it's listening to every fucking thing you say.
Yeah. Now I know your phone is too. Your phone is constantly listening to what you're saying, because if you have
apps on your phone are listening to what you're saying.
Yeah, but I shouldn't say my phone. But so I have Google on my phone, and if my phone's open, and I say, "Okay, Google," hey, it didn't work. What do you know? It has a microphone. It's listening to it. Maybe I disabled it, but I don't know if you actually can disable it.
I think you can. Yeah. That's the difference.
Yeah.
You can tell them no here.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's I'm getting a little concerned about the world. I've been watching a lot of Tim Pool lately, and he's become quite the doomsayer. I don't have a lot of hope for the November elections. I have a feeling that we're not going to know on election day who won. And regardless of who does win, I think it's going to be contested, and I think it's going to be a long, drawn-out battle. And I think ultimately it's going to end with open hostility in the streets between red and blue.
It's already happening, right?
It's already happening now, but it's happening isolated in pockets, and it's specific actors, right? But I'm talking about it'll be like the Civil War when brother fought against brother. And I'm worried about that. So I'm holding off on buying the land in Arizona. Holding off on cashing in those mutual funds and buying the land in Arizona until after the election and until after things calm down.
I've seen every conceivable electoral college map, because of course, God, are we going to do it? Are you going to have that let's browse poll segment?
We can.
It's your call. It's your stream. But I hit up poll every once in a while.
Good for you.
And oh my God, every map is just like, it's all wishful thinking from every side.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh my God, Biden's going to win with 435 electoral votes. No, Trump's going to win with 502 electoral votes. It's like, no.
It's only 538,
Yeah.
It's, I mean, I'm inclined to think that Trump's going to win and he's going to win big. I'm not going to say landslide, but I wouldn't be surprised if he wins by a greater electoral victory than in 2016. Just simply because the guy they're putting up is as bad or worse than Hillary Clinton. And he's not campaigning. He's not. And every time he gets in front of a camera, he says something just not just stupid, but awful. Did you hear what he said recently about? Well, first off, he called
the black community. Latinos are incredibly diverse and think differently from.
Yeah. And then he walked it back on Twitter saying, "I didn't mean to say that blacks were a monolith." Well, that's pretty much what you said, but not only that, he called that reporter, "What are you a cocaine junkie?" Like, my God. Like, what the fuck is wrong?
Did you do a drug test?
Oh, did you get a drug test to get in this line of work? You a cocaine junkie? Like, are you fucking serious? This is the person you've put up. Like, there were so many other candidates you could have put up. I would have loved to have seen a Tulsi Trump debate. And I bet you, and I'll tell you this, if Tulsi went up against Trump, I think she could have won. But she never had the votes to get, to get the nomination.
Yeah. And you know what?
I mean, why didn't she have the votes to get the nomination? Because they basically, they put her out in the cold, basically.
Well, I mean, she wasn't left enough. And you know what? She's not right enough for my flavor.
No, and I'm not saying I would have wanted her to beat Trump. I'm just saying I could have seen her beating Trump.
Yeah, possible. You know what? Bernie could have beat Trump the first time. He probably could have beat Trump this time.
I don't know.
But they muscled him out. And thank God, because all the polls, all the projections showed Hillary winning in 2016, and everything seems to show Biden winning now. That actually makes me a little confident. Like that. There's got to be a German word for this. Germans have a word for everything. I am greatly concerned that this will not go my way. But you ask me to put my money down, I'm going to bet on Trump.
I'm inclined to think so too. I don't trust the polls. They routinely oversample Democrats. They mark independences, or they mark some people who would otherwise be Democrats as independents.
Yeah,
they're not sampling the demographic of Trump's base, and I
Trump supporters are loath to admit they're Trump supporters,
right?
For the most part, until Election Day.
Yep. Yeah, it's true. So, and that's where the thing is, like, that's what happened in 2016. There was so much vitriol against Trump and so much ridiculing of the candidate. The people who did support him and went to the rallies, I mean, you could see it in the rallies. He filled auditoriums like more than anybody else, even Bernie. I mean, Bernie had decent crowd sizes at his events, but Trump still beat him. Biden can't even fill a freaking gymnasium. Like, he gets a half a dozen people showing up. There's just no enthusiasm there.
Biden
when he actually leaves his basement, But I'm looking for some electoral maps and poll, but I'm not seeing them. So
really?
there's lots of stuff
that we're streaming, and there's not.
Right?
The first post is an electoral map saying Trump's done.
Yeah. No, and there's here's one. MAGA is a bunch of losers. Yeah, 419 Democrat. Let me see if I can share this.
Okay, please share. Please screen share this, because
share it.
I've got a couple of questions about all of this every fucking time. Why do they think Texas is contested? Why do they think North Carolina is contested? Why do they think that Florida is fucking blue? What?
Florida's not blue.
In this map?
Yeah, Florida is, yeah. Well, it's leaning blue. It's strong, lean Democrat, right? Yeah.
Oh my God!
You seeing it? Is it there? Yeah, it's there.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's very there. But I mean, Texas being light blue, are you out of your fucking mind?
It's nonsense.
Biden,
there's an argument to be made that Texas is. There's an argument to be made that Texas is purple or is going to be purple because of Austin and some of the bigger cities. But let's take a look here. Georgia going blue? I don't think so. I mean, maybe Atlanta will, but North Carolina, South Carolina? I don't know. Again, I think North Carolina could go Biden because apparently he's favored there. I don't know why he is, but Delaware will probably go Biden because it's Delaware.
Well, that's his state, right? Like,
yeah, but no.
But
I see Arizona being red. I see Texas being red. Alaska will be red. I mean, the fact that they made Alaska pink and not red. Give me a break.
And Florida hard blue? No.
Yeah, Florida is not that blue. You could say it's purple. You could say it's like leans Republican, but I'd say it's a strong lean Republican because, one, Governor DeSantis there is quite popular. And despite them, basically roasting him every night because of all his uptick in cases, most of which were bogus numbers, but he didn't shut down the economy the way other states did. And he's not being as ridiculous with restrictions on his residents as other states are.
And we saw this every time. We saw this before the original election. These people aren't fairly weighing this, and what we're looking at is the map of their wishful thinking, and not the knowing. That's why I was asking you about Vaush before we went live. Do you know, you're not super familiar with Vaush?
I've heard of him, but I don't really know him. No.
Yeah. One of the things I've noticed, and because he's basically a Marxist, something I've noticed about the people that say they claim to speak for the working class and they want to do good things for the working people and all that, they're all really well educated and they have these jobs where they don't have to fucking put their hands in fucking elephant dung, and they've never, like, there's no scabs, there's no calluses on their hands, and they speak for the working class. Something I've noticed is that they don't know the working class at all. They don't know these people. They're not familiar with them. And
Marxism failed. Like the Marxists in the Frankfurt School, that was their thought, that basically if you could get unions into the United States and you could get there to be class divisions in the United States, that they could usher in, Marxism in the United States. But it didn't really work. That's why they've shifted to making it racial, right? So you might be, so now the neo-Marxists, the cultural Marxists are, you're black, oh, you've been oppressed by whites. You're a woman, you've been oppressed by men. You're Latino, you've been oppressed by, the prevailing
as opposed to
white supremacy culture that you found yourself in.
As opposed to you're a carpenter or a plumber, you've been oppressed by a business owner that contracts you out, right?
Yeah. So it didn't work, right? They tried to make it work and it didn't work. So they shifted. Saul Alinsky was his whole thing, right? He's like, he was a Marxist, his rules for radicals. He's like, shift it, make it about race, make it about. I mean, class still plays into it, but the idea that black people are oppressed because of the color of their skin, even multi-million-dollar basketball players and talk show hosts, they have less privilege than like Oprah Winfrey. I don't know if you heard this or not, but Oprah Winfrey came out and said, "If you're white, you have privilege. That's all there is to it." Really? Those those guys living in the Appalachians who, don't have a full set of teeth, can't read, and don't have a pair of shoes. They are privileged right now.
And as far as I understand, she is the single most successful television personality in the history of the U.S. Is that not correct?
You're probably right. Unless you... Oh, no, I guess it wouldn't count. I was going to say Merv Griffin, because after Merv Griffin, left being on TV, he became huge in terms of like his financial assets. But no, I mean, by far, yeah. She's so wealthy. And, and there's a meme going around where it's like, here's a woman who doesn't have kids, isn't married, and doesn't have financial problems, telling people how to raise their kids, how to fix their marriage, and how to solve their financial problems. Yeah. I mean, give her credit. I mean, she did it all on her own. She's very successful because of what she did. I'm sure she had a leg up and help in it, but like anybody else, like she took advantage of opportunities that came her way, and she made a success of it. But the idea that she,
business person, right? Like,
yeah.
And she knew what she was doing. She's aggressive. She's a shark, right?
And she's competent too. She's not. It's not that she's like cutthroat, but she knows what she's doing, right? She's good at what she's doing.
Is cutthroat.
Yeah. It's not just because she's. Yeah. It's not just because she's cutthroat. You have to.
But that's a value. That's got a value into what she does and how she became successful.
Yeah. Well, you and I, Justin, were talking about it. Psychopathy plays a role in successful people, right? She's probably got some level of psychopathy going on.
I don't know. I'm not going to call her a psychopath, but I'm going to say that she has the capacity to be cold when she needs to.
Yeah.
Get what she wants, because that's what it takes to be a fucking billionaire in that highly competitive entertainment business.
Yeah.
Right. Where Elon Musk, all you have to do is be Elon Musk and you're going to be a billionaire, right?
Well, he's also, no, but I'm not sure what you're getting at. He's a genius for one, but also he took advantage of opportunities, and I'm sure that he is cutthroat in his own way. He doesn't, he suffers no fools, as it were. And he takes advantage of opportunities, and he doesn't have any time for people who are going to, stand in his way.
Sure. But I think one of his greatest task was Tesla, because he actually bought that company when it was failing. It was on its last legs. It was going to go under. And he's like, no, I like this idea. I'm going to take it and make it my own.
Yep.
And use my genius to propel it. And now Tesla is a huge manufacturer, and they make the best cars there are. Like, there's no argument. A Tesla is the better vehicle. It really is.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't catch fire.
Well, it's not just the Tesla cars. It's everything else he's got his hands in too, right? I mean,
no, but Tesla was a company that was going down. It was going to go under.
Yeah.
Oprah, she bought up successful businesses, and she pushed out successful people to eat their success. Elon was like, no, you're on the right track. You got the wrong administration.
Right.
And he made it better because he's Elon Musk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And he didn't, you don't need a cutthroat mentality to do that. You need to be literally better than other people to make that work.
I want a Cybertruck, by the way. That's the car I want to get. When I trade in my car, I got a car, the car I drive and make my videos in, which I haven't done one in a while, I know.
Audi.
But no, it's not an Audi, it's a Mazda. The car I have right now, it's got less than 50,000 kilometers on it. I've had it for 7-8 years now, and it's going to take me a while to even break 100,000 on it. But when I do, when I get close to 100,000 kilometers, I'm going to trade it in or sell it. I'm going to buy a Cybertruck. And by that time, my expectation is that solid state batteries will be a thing, and you'll get the same range on a Cybertruck as you would on any other car, any internal combustion. He's doing it. There's going to be a battery summit or a battery conference coming up soon. Solid state batteries, I think, are going to be the big announcement. I don't know. I'm hopeful, but I don't know. Solid state batteries are going to change everything with regards to electric cars.
Yes. Yeah, they would, as long as they don't vent.
Well, I don't know. This is it, right? There's these hurdles to this new technology, but the idea is sound, and I guess the tests have proven fruitful.
Look,
so, and if anybody's going to be able to bring one to market and make it saleable, it'll be Elon Musk.
As far as I know, Elon Musk just put 2 professional astronauts on the ISS.
Mm-hmm.
Like on a whim. He's not making money on that. That's like his side project that he just like, I'm going to sell some cars and do some PayPal and we're going to put people in space cuz it's fun.
Well, I think for him it's a dream thing. It's definitely a visionary thing, but also he's not stupid. He understands the economic benefits that he's going to reap being able to do that. Did you see the test fire of the Starship? The hub they did?
No, the weird ass silo.
It looks like a silo. Yeah, the Starship looks like a silo because they made it out of steel as opposed to aluminum and other materials. So, but yeah, it's really ugly looking. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
it doesn't have fins yet. It's got this goofy looking top. But yeah, they did a test fire where it flew up and it did a 150 meter hop to another, and it landed.
And it landed?
Yep.
It
went off without a hitch. So this is the idea of reusable rockets, right? That's why the was it Falcon 9? Is that what they did? Is that what his rocket was?
Falcon sounds right. I'm not sure the number that put guys in space.
Yeah. That's the whole thing. It's reusable. It's not like the shuttle where they have to blow off the tanks and the boosters every time they use it. Basically, it lands again, and they can, in a short order, they can send it back up. And so his next big thing, and this has turned into like science news, but his next big thing is is having transcontinental rocket flights. So basically, you can get from one part of the planet to any other part of the planet within an hour, if you have the money and you want to, if you want to go to Paris and you don't want to fly for 7 hours in a conventional jet, take a rocket. You'll be up there and down in an hour.
Right.
So, yeah. Anyway,
that was the Concorde promise. We'll see what happens.
Well, yeah, but the Concorde had other issues.
Yeah.
It wasn't a rocket; it was a jet.
Yeah, it
flew too damn fast.
It's actually a fantastic piece of machinery, but okay, where are we?
We're coming up on 1 hour and 40 minutes. I think we should probably call it soon because I don't have a lot more to talk about, and we've gone off on a couple of tangents here. But is there anything else you want to talk about? Anything you want to plug before we say goodnight?
I'd love to talk about this guy Vaush, but I am very drunk. So
what is it about him that you want to express? Because I don't know much about him.
Oh, you don't know much. Your audience might not know much about him. I watched the debate between this guy Vaush and Sargon, and he's just so typically left wing.
Yeah.
And he calls himself a libertarian socialist. And you as a libertarian, I'm sure you take offense at that notion.
I roll my eyes at it. It's like saying jumbo shrimp. It's an oxymoron. You can't be a libertarian socialist. How do you be a libertarian? So they're two diametrically opposed worldviews and economic points of view.
And I, as a son of a merchant and a small business owner myself, I take a ton of issues with this guy's hard left claims about forcing people to share the means of production, but also saying that he's for the American principles of democracy and freedom.
You can't have them both.
No, I don't think you can.
You can't square that circle. You either have freedom or you have totalitarianism. Now, this is the thing, though. Socialists, diehard socialists, don't view their ideas as totalitarian because they're like, well, people would just do it. People would just, because they know it's for the greater good. People aren't like that. People are self-interested. It shows a complete lack of understanding of human nature. People are concerned with their own well-being and the well-being of their family. And then beyond that, their social circle. When you try to get people to care about the greater good, that is the body politic, the populace at large, they're going to act, even if under threat of being, prosecuted, they'll do it underhanded. They'll hide it. This is what happened in the happens everywhere. It happened in the Soviet Union, it happens in North Korea. People are going to, even if they have to cheat the system, they're going to act in a self-interested manner. So you're never going to get people to everybody play nice and share equally, and it just doesn't work. The idea of companies, operating in a co-op sort of structure, that exists and you can do it, but you have to do it voluntarily.
That's actually my biggest issue with the man. So if you'll indulge me for as long as you will, I'd like to address that concept, the co-op. The co-op is the idea that every employee is an owner of the means of production. And it's something that he's stated, this guy Vaush, as policy that we should freely, democratically, in what's the word? Create policies that make it that all companies are co-ops, so that all the employees become owners. Yeah.
How do you do that?
Yeah.
Cooperatives, co-ops meaning short for cooperative, meaning that people have to cooperate, and that implies that there's willingness to do it. So you're telling the guy who's made, I'll use Ben Shapiro's pencil factory, idea. He opens a pencil factory. He invests in all the equipment. He invests in all the, the accountants and the warehouse and the materials to make pencils. He's the one who puts up all the risk. And now you're going to say that everybody who works under him now has ownership of that, who didn't have to put up any risk? Yeah. And if it's cooperative, that means he has to do it willingly. I don't know how willing he's going to be to. Now, if you get a group of people say, hey, I think we can make a better pencil, let's all pool our money into buying all the equipment, hiring the accountants, hiring the lawyers, renting the factory, and making the pencils, managing the putting in the management structure, and we'll cooperatively manage each other. If you got a group of people who are willing to do that and have the money to share the risk equally, there's nothing stopping in the current economic model, the current economic structure that we have, from doing that. Good luck. I hope it works for you. If it does, pass your knowledge along. Well, but You can't force it on people who've already outlaid that risk and invested that risk.
That's along the lines of how I would approach a man like Vosh, but I wouldn't even want to talk to him based on what I've seen. Like that. Okay, assume for a moment I'm a small business owner, and I am, and I put into my small business 60 hours a week, right? And I do all of the jobs. I do all of everything that's required of me. I do the stock. I do the janitorial. I do the management, the administration. I do all of those things. And it takes 60 hours. Okay. Now I have a new opportunity that my business is doing well enough that it attracted some attention. And here it is, an opportunity for 40 more hours a week. Okay, look, I myself can't manage 100 hours, but streamlining the way the way I've been doing my job, I can put the administration to maybe 2 more hours, and the labor costs, geez, I can do 10 more hours. I'm going to hire a guy that's going to give me 10 hours of custodial. I just want someone to keep my area clean for 10 hours a week while I do the rest. And I streamlined everything else. According to a guy like Vosh, I have to give that guy, right, when I went from 60 hours to 70, I have to give him 1/7 of my earnings now.
Yeah, of your revenue, yeah.
Yeah.
Or profit yeah. after costs, right? So
yeah. No, hold on. This man, according to Vosh, is now an owner of my business. He gets 1/7 of all revenues, right? And yeah, sure, we share all expenditures, but the problem here is, why do I take this guy on at all? Why do I take the new business, and why do I hire the guy?
You don't.
If there's no incentive for me to do that, I'd rather tell them, sorry guys, I'm full.
No, what you do is you subcontract it out to a janitorial service who have their own business and make their own money.
No, but you're talking about capitalism.
Yeah.
Bosch is talking about co-ops.
But those aren't co-ops, though. Co-ops implies that everybody's doing it willingly and cooperatively. What he's talking about is mandating that people who own businesses give up what they've worked for the people who work beneath them, because those people who work beneath them, they deserve it just by virtue of being less fortunate.
And my man Vosh there seems to be well educated, and he's got a degree, and he just lets shit rip about what he learned in university, but and he talks fondly about his days in wage slavery.
Wage slavery. No, slavery is forced labor. Right? It's labor that you are forced to do. And it, you know, if you don't have a choice of not showing up to work, you're a slave. But if you can say, you know what, I don't like this job, fuck it, I quit, I'd rather be homeless because this job is so shitty, you're not a slave.
You are correct. And what he doesn't seem to understand is that when you force people to do a co-op based on your ideology, you force that person to be an owner, and that person is therefore on the hook if something goes wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't want that. Craig, do you want that? If your company goes wrong, do you want to be?
I'd rather have a choice of where, you know, what kind of risk I'm going to take, and Like the great thing about the job I do is if the company I work for, make a series of bad decisions and they end up going belly up, I have marketable skills that I can sell to another employer.
But more importantly, Craig, you don't own that company, so you don't owe anything
Right.
to the people who are indebted. And you don't have to put up your house against that fucking company.
No.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I'd be one of the people that the company would be indebted to because I have assets within the economic
You better
structure.
Check your details. But yes, no, I hope that's true.
Yeah, there's a retirement system in place, a pension system in place that I would get paid out on. Mutual funds are in place that I would get paid out on, or I would roll them into a new mutual fund or something else.
But the libertarian socialists, the anarcho-communists, and the anarcho ANCAPs, they all have the same problem.
Yeah.
Their system on paper actually works. It works when everybody does exactly what is prescribed. Where it fails is that none of these people know anything about people.
Right. Well, you know what, Charlie Kirk.
Responsibility. For the most part, they don't want it.
No.
Okay. And you know how you know that? Because they don't endeavor to start their own businesses.
Oh, we're getting a pile of comments here.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry. I didn't realize our views went up from like 5 to 10. We doubled. Oh, people going in and Toxicast is here. Board bedroom female.
But I'll carry on if you like it.
No, I appreciate it. No, this is good now that we've actually got people watching. Lobotomy. I don't know who these people are, but elbow cough.
No.
Welcome to the stream, everybody. Thank you. Wait, didn't your guns get taken? No, my guns did not get taken. I have my guns.
Specifically. Yeah.
I'm assuming you're asking. You're asking me, MR, Mr. Fern. No, my guns are safely stored in a safe here in my domicile.
I lost all my guns in a boating accident. So
yeah, I lost all my guns in a boating accident. No, none of mine are currently on the chopping block from the federal government. So, but doesn't mean that I don't care about the ordering council that came down. But Irving, this is getting interesting to talk about what you're talking about. So, yeah, I mean, anarcho-communists, these people who like we can have a communist system and everybody still be free. Yeah, they're called the Amish and the Mennonites. They do it all the time. And Charlie Kirk is really famous for doing this. These people. Well, I'm a libertarian socialist. First, he says, don't use that term because you're not libertarian. You're just a diehard socialist. And the thing is, if you want to have this system in place, do what the Amish do. Go buy some land, make a commune, and get everybody on board to do what you want to do. Well, it's difficult to do. Well, the Amish seem to have no problem fucking doing it.
No, hold on. The Amish have tons of fucking problems.
Well, sure they do, but
they called Rumspringa, right? That they know this causes all kinds of problems, and they say go out into the regular world and find yourself. If you like it, stay. If you don't, come back. Yeah. They do it. Yeah. But the problem here is that with the Amish are dwindling. They're basically maintaining, like they're at like that 1.6 to 1.8 that they can exist right now.
Their reproductive rate or what have you.
They're reproductive, but also the people that come back.
Yeah.
So they reproduce at a great rate, but people that don't come back are excessively high. So
no, I get that, and it's understandable. But the thing is, the ones that stay seem to make it work, right?
For sure.
And
But
Toxicast says commies still aren't people. You're absolutely right, Toxicast. They aren't.
But they do it by choice. And that's the problem with commies, is that the
Right.
commies are like Vaj, are saying you don't get a choice.
Right.
We get to vote on your freedom.
Yeah.
Right? And when we're talking about business and commerce, free enterprise, we have to ask about the 80-20 principle. Are you familiar with the 80-20 rule?
Yeah, the Pareto principle, yeah.
Yes, but are you familiar with it? Do you know how it affects you?
Me individually?
Because that's the real question. Because if you're not a business owner, it might be something that you have been like acquainted with, but you don't actually, it doesn't affect you directly. I'm a business owner. I know, I've been the son of a business owner. I know how this works. 80-20 happens everywhere.
Yeah, it's axiomatic at this point. It's not just in, any given business. It's in every field. It's even in cosmology.
It's in nature.
80% of all matter in the universe is located in about 20% of the space in the universe.
That's right. That 80% of the matter in our solar system is bound by 20% of the planets.
Yeah.
Right. But 80-20 splits show up everywhere when you run a business. 80% of your revenue will be generated by 20% of your clients. 80% of commissions will be paid out to 20% of your salespeople. Weird things like 20% of your labor force will work 80% harder than the other 80%.
It's true. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's axiomatic in all systems. You'll find this sort of ratio. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not mathematically, what's the word, distinct, but it's a fair gauge of a lot of splits.
Yeah, I mean it's not an exactly 80-20. You're right.
Yeah.
It's roughly. But no, it's I don't remember who was watching, but basically the idea of communism and everybody basically working in a communal type of setup was one of the very first colonies in Jamestown. They tried that in the United States. And what they found out was people were cheating. People were taking more than was they were supposed to take. People were contributing less than they were supposed to, and people were starving in the first couple of years. And so, they finally came out and said, no, you know what? You get what you make. You will reap what you sow. You will get what you make. And, if you need something that you couldn't get yourself, you have your neighbors to trade with. They abandoned it very quickly when they realized it wasn't working. And, and then 100 years later, the communists tried it in Russia. Didn't work. So, but yeah.
And that's where I take issue with guys like Vaj. And the same issue I take with the ANCAPs. People are not like this. Right? Whatever policy you wish to put into power, the universe itself, nature, like I grow weed, I know that 20% of my stems are going to produce 80% of my bud, right? You're fighting against nature when you try to enforce these rules on the productive people and productive businesses. You can't do it. When you fight against it, you cause the collapse.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. You grow wheat, like you said, if you found that, you said 80% of your best producing plants, or 80% of the bud is growing on 20% of your plants.
Yeah.
The answer is not then to add more, give more attention to the other 80% of plants that aren't producing. The answer is to cultivate that 20% and breed more plants off of those plants. Like plant more things, plant the seeds from those 20% plants, so that those in turn will produce better. And then the ones that aren't producing at all, you just fucking get rid of them. You turn them into compost. That's how you do it, right? And farmers will tell you this as well. So
yeah, no, but treat the good well. Treat the poor, the poor behaving less well. And here's where it comes into a proper practical, at least for me, that for years, for a decade, we would hire 5 people, 5 guys, young men, to do labor for the summer. Summer job, it's a good job, right? Make a lot of money. 5 guys. 4 of them, we would find out very quickly, they were there to get paid. They don't want to work. They don't want to do this. Oh, maybe they need 5 more minutes. They want to complain. They want to fucking argue. But they're not there to do the job. 1 guy out of 5. He
20%.
does whatever he's asked. He shows up after helping everybody else and says, "What's next, boss?" That guy, under this system, I can reward that guy. I can give him a permanent job. I can give him a bonus, a raise, a promotion. Under something like what Vosh says, this motherfucker now has to share in profits with these 4 other guys who are doing 30%, 40% of what he's doing. And now here's where the human element gets really weird. Those guys are only doing what they consider bare minimum compared to him. That 1 guy is setting a standard for them, and they don't even know it, and they do like whatever they have to do. When you go the Vosh route and do this co-op bullshit where he suddenly is now an owner and responsible for these 4 fuck-ups, he has no incentive.
Right.
He doesn't do it anymore.
So what do you do under your system, right? So when you have that the 1 guy, the 20% of your workforce who are, doing the best job that, can be asked of them, you reward them. Because if you don't reward them, that 20%, they're going to fail as well. They're going to say, fuck it, there's no incentive. Like, eventually, you're always going to have people who have a strong work ethic. But eventually, some of those guys are going, that guy who sits on his ass all day and doesn't work nearly as hard as me is getting rewarded the same as I am, and he seems to be getting a hell of a lot more out of life. You know what? Fuck it. Instead of going to bed early and waking up early to get here on time, I'm going to go out with those guys because they're having a great time. I'm going to go partying with them. I'll be a workie just like them. I'll get my paycheck. I'll buy my case of beer. I'll party all weekend, and I'll come back on Monday, maybe on time if I'm lucky. So those guys are, they're a cancer to your business. You need to basically weed them out.
Here's the thing: is that those 4 guys are the average people. But the 1 guy, okay, I can reward the 1 guy. Right. Now, I'm a small business. The 4 guys, they get their money and they do what I need them to do eventually, right? And I'm not happy with their performance, but we came to an agreement as free people, right?
Right.
But the 1 guy, okay, so I give him the same money I gave them, but as a small business owner, I might give him a bonus. All right. He can handle the taxes himself, I guess. But I might be able to give him some stock and sort of write it off and slip it out so that he doesn't have to pay taxes, right? But I do my best to reward that guy.
Right, because you wanted to keep performing.
Because next summer, if he doesn't have a better job, I want him to come back.
Right.
And here's the problem, is that the way we've done this, like my particular skill set, my business, they always do something better. But goddamn, they'll always be my first customer, right? They'll hit me up first every fucking time, right?
You're lagging on me a little bit, Irving.
Sorry, I'll try to give them a good home audio experience, right? Home theater experience. Yeah.
Mr. Fern is asking, what do you guys think of Garrett Foster? You'll have to educate me here. I'm not sure who Garrett Foster is. Who's Garrett Foster?
Is the young man who carried his AK-47 out in Austin.
Okay.
And pointed it at a car.
Right, and he got shot by the guy in the car.
Yeah.
I think he's a schmuck. And it's sad that he died, but,
yeah, but
don't fuck around, as they say. Don't fuck around.
That's actually not different from what we're discussing. This is a man who is the 80% and pointed it at a man who was the 20%.
Yeah,
80-20 don't all over business, life, the universe.
Yep.
Ooh. Yeah, no.
20% of the bullets will land in 80% of the 80% of the schmucks.
No. Hold on. What's that? Douglas Adams. What? The question?
The question? Oh,
what is 80-20? That's the actual question.
Oh, what is 80-20? The Pareto principle. Yeah. What is the answer to the meaning of life, the universe, and everything? And the answer is 42.
Yep.
It's 80-20.
The question is the Pareto principle.
That's right. Yeah, no, Garrett Foster, I saw that guy. I saw his interview just before that incident happened, and he was talking about how, I got to defend myself. I don't want to use it, but I will. Yeah, except you didn't. You pointed at the guy in the car, and he's like, fuck, there's a guy pointing a gun at me, and there's all these people crowding around my car, and they're banging on my car. I have a gun. I got to defend myself. Boom.
I didn't do a video about this, but I wanted to.
It's never too late.
Yeah, very. But hearing the shots and the voice, that we have voice of Garrett Foster, and then hearing that everybody back up, and then 5 rounds, you're actually probably more familiar with the sound of the rifle rounds versus the pistols. It very much to me sounded like 5 rifle rounds and 3 pistol rounds.
Oh, so you're saying he shot or someone else shot as well?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't looked at it in great detail. I just know that you if you're going to bring a gun to a riot, you better be prepared to use it. And if you do brandish it and you do point it at somebody, don't be surprised if they fire back. Did you see these people who were trying to go? I don't know where it was. I want to say it was in Texas, but I could be wrong. These BLM protesters started walking on a private road to go to the mayor's house, and these guys pulled up in a truck, and they said, "We're just peacefully protesting. You're pointing a gun at us. We're peaceful." and the woman said,
Well,
"You're peaceful because we have the guns. You know, because we're pointing the gun. It's because that's why you're peaceful."
they attacked people at their homes.
Yeah,
They attacked civilians on their fucking porches. Yeah.
yeah. That woman who was wearing the swastika armband. I don't know what that was all about, but whatever. They tried to they attacked her on her front porch. Why she opened the door?
Let some fucking loser fucking wear her swastika. You bitch, you're on her lawn already. She should fucking mow you down.
Yeah, but that's well. I don't know why she opened the door. Why would you open your door? Or did they kick in the door and she happened to be in there with her swastika on her armband? I don't know.
No, I think the problem is that they went to residential neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't doubt the possibility of trolls.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, there was those people who wore the masks with swastikas on their faces.
Motherfucker, I would put a fucking something on my fucking arm just to be like a misanthrope.
Just controversial, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put I probably put a Gadsden flag on my arm, or no step on Sneck. Or I don't know, maybe the Black Pigeon Speaks logo on my arm.
Oh, that would be pretty good.
People are like, what that kind of, that's red and black on, what are you trying to show there? People would think I'm a Nazi because I got a black pigeon on my arm. He's got a great channel too. If people don't follow Black Pigeon Speaks or Felix Rex BPS, you should. He's got a great channel. He's Canadian expat, eh? He lives in Tokyo, but he's from Canada. Yeah.
And great production value.
Yeah, I like the way his stuff looks. I want to animate my logo for my. I should do like an opening slate like you do on your videos, and do some editing when I make videos. And I should do an animated logo. I think that might help.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I suffer for it, and your purity is a boon to you. I don't know.
You think keeping it simple the way I do it is the way to keep doing it?
Yeah, I think you're a purer kind of guy than I.
I don't know about that. I like your content. I like the opening slate. I like how you edit it, how you cut it.
Hold on. We like each other's content because the content is good.
Yeah.
At least I hope so. But I think you're doing a purer job and I'm doing a more like media plus job.
Maybe.
It's philosophies at that point.
What does oops mean, Toxicast? You're putting oops with a little boxing glove. I don't know what that's about.
Oops, you missed the point about the Jews.
Oh no. Is that the kind of stuff that I'll find on Toxicast?
Probably.
Talking about the Jews?
Unfortunately.
That's okay. I'm used to seeing it. I go on poll all the time.
I used to love these guys though. They were so good. And then it's like, oh, we fell halfway down the rabbit hole and stopped. Guys, no, come on.
Who said that?
I said that.
To them?
About them.
About them. Oh.
Of course I fucking said it to them. These guys were my friends.
No, you know what? I like edgy humor. And I'm not at all, if you're outwardly anti-Semitic and you're serious about it, and you're constantly screaming, gas the Jews or whatever, and you're doing it because you believe it, I've got a problem. But if you're a Scotsman, teaching his pug to raise its paw when you say you want to gas the Jews, son, I think that's funny. I like edgy humor like that. I have no problem with edgy humor. I do have a problem with people, inciting actual hate.
But let me give you a scenario. So, Jews, Ashkenazi, and whatnot might be of high IQ, right?
Mm-hmm. Typically,
that's not disputed. So they'll be overrepresented in places like
women are trash. I think that means women are trash.
Yeah. But the Jewish people will be overrepresented in places like media, finance,
professionals,
media,
politics, lawyers, doctors,
law. Yeah, that's the big one.
Yeah. What's your point?
So, in a cabal of people that do these horrific things that require finance, media, politics, right? The Jews, Ashkenazi, might be also overrepresented, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, why is it that everyone seems to think the Jews are the worst?
Well, I don't think everyone thinks they're the worst. I think there's some people, but I know what you're saying. You know what I think it comes down to? It's the same reason people hate America. People don't like winners. People are envious of the winners. So when people cry about Americans stealing native land, well, no, you got a Stone Age culture that was conquered by an Iron Age culture. That's what happened. The people with better technology won. No use crying about it. Get on with your fucking life. It's the same goes for people who are successful in any other field, right? Yeah, they're more successful. They're close knit communities. They help each other out. They invest in their young. They prize success in academics higher, more so than maybe other communities do, and that's why they're so successful.
Okay.
So it stands to reason that when there are people who are of the more nefarious type in these high success positions, if there's more of those people in those high success positions, then there's going to be more nefarious types in those high success positions.
Absolutely. Okay. Now, bear with me for a minute.
Okay, yeah, anti-Semite.
So Epstein, Jewish. Ghislaine Maxwell, not so much. Cabal, we all agree the cabal is real, right? But the cabal is not Jewish. The cabal has the upper echelons of people like Hillary Clinton and
Clintons.
Bill Clinton. The Bushes are a family involved.
Yeah, the Rockefellers.
The Rockefellers.
The Rothschilds, but I think the Rothschilds are Jewish too, aren't they?
Rothschilds are, Rockefellers are not. But the British royal family, Prince Andrew, are they fucking Jews? Hold on.
Apparently they are.
No, they're
the Windsors apparently are descended from Jews.
No, fuck off. They're
yes,
not.
They are. Apparently, according to Joseph Gregory Hallett, they borrow money from money from the Rothschilds. Listen, hold on.
No. They may have funded from the Rothschilds,
right? And in doing so, the Rothschilds they were given rights to breed with the Windsors so that they could have their own bloodline in succession to the throne.
Bloodlines are irrelevant. They are not Jews. Okay.
I don't know. I'm talking about the real king, Joseph Gregory Hallett, who is going to be coming. Who's going to be taking the throne at any day now. Any day now.
I'm trying to outwit the Jewish conspiracists here. So if you want to go ahead and counter me.
Yeah. I'm trolling, man. I'm playing. But have you seen the Hidden King documentary?
Please admit it. I don't know about that.
There's a documentary called The Hidden King. It's worth watching just for the giggles.
I'll tell. Oh, link it in the chat. I'll tell you this. I've gone down this rabbit hole, and I've gone so far that I am so far past Jews, right? That Jews will be abnormally represented to a degree that, above the percentage of the population. But have you noticed that the Jewish people involved with the cabal, and we at this point know a cabal exists, but the Jews are on the base level, that Epstein was literally recruiting girls from the street. Okay? Rich as fuck, but Jewish and recruiting women from outside his neighborhood on the street.
Mm-hmm.
Ghislaine Maxwell was manipulating him. The Bushes, Clintons, the Prince Andrew, these are not Jewish families.
So I think what you're saying is that there's sick fucks in every demographic, not just the Jews.
But in the demographic of the cabal, we are seeing basically the same misrepresentation or the overrepresentation of Jews, the same way you would see them in media, finance, law, politics. So, hold on. But also, they're the first people to be exposed.
Who, the Epstein and Maxwell, you mean?
No, the Jews.
The Jews.
They're the first people to be exposed in this cabal.
Well, yeah.
Well, yes.
No, it's true, but I mean, you got to consider that Epstein wasn't terribly smart about what he was doing.
No, he was very smart, but he was also very aggressive. But the problem is that people stop going down the rabbit hole when they see Jews.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. I think I want to see all the dirty, evil scumbags.
Yes. So do I. And farther down the rabbit hole, you find a whole bunch of other people that aren't Jews.
Yeah, like Huma Abedin.
Huma Abedin.
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton.
George Bush. The Bushes.
Yep. Yeah.
Joe Biden.
You find every other.
What's the background of the Podestas? I think they're Italian, aren't they?
And if you go deep enough, you realize, oh my God, Jews are the front line. The same way they've been a fucking scapegoat for every other country, for every other culture for a long time.
It goes back to people becoming envious of the winners, right?
So, yes. But here's my point, is that even in the cabal of these child trafficking, adrenochrome drinking motherfuckers, they have always been these handful of Jews selling their own people under the bus. Now, here's where it gets fucking weird, is that the Jews in the cabal know they are overrepresented, and they sell those other people, the other regular Jewish people, to the wolves. They just throw them out there, and they're like, yeah, no, it's Jewish. They are the progenitors of that Jewish meme.
Okay, I think I understand what you're saying.
Wait. Because here's where it gets awesome, is that when people hear it, they throw the baby out with the bathwater. Because some people are like, oh my God, the Jews do this thing that is terrible. And they're like, that's just anti-Semitism. And I don't believe any of the entirety of this thing that is happening. So for the Poltards, what's happened is that you have fallen for the Jewish Jew. That is the best way I can describe it to you. That the Jews involved in this have fed you that what you need to make it about Jews.
Could be.
Yep.
Mr. Fern has a question, though. It's completely off topic. What the best Star Wars movie? Well, for me, I got to give it to Empire Strikes Back. I think it was just a damn good movie. It hit all the points. It had the most drama, and it had the most.
It's Trap. He's going to ask you something about Jews at this point.
I don't know. Is Mr. Fern part of the Toxicast?
Maybe. I don't even know.
Yeah, I would give it to Empire. I think Empire was cinematically the best. Now, there are certain scenes in other movies that I think are like top scenes, like the lightsaber duel between Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, and Darth Maul in Phantom Menace. I don't think there's a better lightsaber sequence in any of the movies than that one. What do you think, Irving? What's your favorite Star Wars movie?
I'll tell you this. That lightsaber sequence is my favorite fucking scene in all of Star Wars.
For everything. Like the music was even the best. No better music than that.
It hits me here. There's 5 parts in that song, and they are monsters. Every piece is a monster piece. Oh my God. And
but favorite movie, if you had to say, okay, this hands down is my favorite movie of all of them, what would it be?
All of movies. I hate Spielberg. I hate all of it, everything. No, but you know what? Yeah, no, Empire is good.
You give it to Empire?
Yeah,
I give it to Empire. Empire gives it to Empire. What are the chat's thoughts, Mr. Fern? What do you think?
It's tight with Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi would have been better without the fucking teddy bears. The Ewoks, I think, were. I don't know. I mean, they wanted to make Wookiees, but Lucas wanted to have a Wookiee in the first movie because he wanted to include a Wookiee in the first movie because he didn't think he was going to be able to make any of the other movies. So
they have their value. Okay.
Yeah, Ewoks are okay, but I thought they were poorly done creatures. I good everything before Disney. I would agree with that. Everything before Disney was halfway decent. The prequel trilogy was the weakest of those 6, though.
It has an internal consistency, right? Like
someone says that if you're going to watch those movies, the prequels in the original trilogy, you shouldn't watch all 6. You should watch what they call, I think it's called the machete cut. So basically, you watch episodes 4 and 5, 2 and 3, and then 6. Because that gives you the full arc of Luke Skywalker, his revelation that Darth Vader is his father, and then it tells you Darth Vader's, story of his fall, and then it ends with Darth Vader's redemption.
No, look, you watch 4 through 6, and then you pretend
we had
nothing
some buffering there.
Ever happened.
I've been told watch the machete cut.
Maybe I'll try it. Hit me up, but yeah, no. Episode 4, 5, and 6, and then pretend nothing else happened. Yeah. And I think you'll be a fan of Star Wars based on that.
Yeah. But the thing is, you show the younger audiences today episodes 4, 5, and 6, they go, eh. But it's okay. Young people don't know shit. With that being said, though, Irving, we're coming up on 2.5 hours. I was going to cut this at 1.5 hours, but we ended up going for a full other hour. that's cool with me. I'm fine. We had some good discussions. You didn't get too sloppy, and we got some more viewers, so I appreciate that too.
Deserved. I really appreciate it. Let's hit the chat. Does anyone have anything to say, or have you seen anything that I talked over them?
No, it's a lot of like single characters that Toxicast was putting out there that I don't know. It must be some sort of code he's sending up. I will show your banner here. If you're not currently following Irving Twin, follow at Irving Twin on Twitter. Are you on Parler yet, Irving?
I am, but I hate it. And
I'm on it too, but I haven't really been doing much with it.
Parler is Twitter, but conservative and authoritarian, so I don't care.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it there sort of as a backup. So when Twitter eventually falls, then I'll have another place to go. I'm at BragCD on Twitter. If you can follow me there. If you're not following me there, please do. If you're not subscribed, I was just looking at my analytics the other day. It looks like I get about at least 45% of people who watch my videos aren't subscribed. So if you're not subscribed and you want to check out more of my content, please do. I think you're obviously here, so you know where to find me. And my guess is that most of the people in the chat already know about your channel, Irving, but you got anything coming up that you wanted to include?
I will get drunk and yell at things so people will... That's what
Toxicast spelled out Nubian, but with more G's in the chat, letter by letter. Thanks, Toxicast. And then he said, haha, based brag. Thank you. I am so based. Yeah. Thanks, everyone, for watching. I appreciate you all coming here and checking out Ammunition number 6.
We have to have Toxicast. We have to have Pox on, mine or yours. I don't care. But we got to sit down with this guy and just chill out. We really do.
Absolutely. We can totally do that. Maybe we'll do it either part of yours or more Ammunition. I don't care. We didn't talk anything about guns today, but that's okay. And he says, anytime figs. Well, I like figs too. They're delicious. Fig Newtons are like one of my favorite cookie bars. So
you know the joke. You're a fan of Steven Crowder.
Punch women. Double punch women. Nice. Okay. Thanks, Toxcast. Thanks everybody for coming by. I appreciate it. You all have a great night. Enjoy your weekend. Stay safe and have a good day. Irving, say goodnight.
Hail Sigmar.